Tip number 15 with Justin and Dave. Justin from Elevation Homes. Justin, I sent you a picture that was sent in to us of a door. It's a beautiful big door. You've seen it. I'm going to put it up on the screen for the folks to see as well.
Yep.
But this person was telling me air just blows through it in the winter. It's just a sieve, but it's one of those homemade doors. Like it's, you can sort of describe it better. It's got all those bells and whistles. It's really, really pretty, but let's get right down to the basics. How the hell do you weather strip something like that to protect it from the winter?
Well, so yes, something like that. I mean, to be honest with you, we see it more often than not, especially in some of the custom houses, because they'll have a door made or handmade or I mean it's pre-existing. Usually exotic hardwoods and things like that, so they can be carved and whatnot. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it applies to everything because there's lots of old steel doors that we have the same issue with. But I mean, there's a number of types of weather stripping that we can do to try to seal that opening. I mean, this time of year, when it's this temperature, which is probably like about 5 degrees right now, I mean, you really start to feel that temperature difference between the inside and the outside. So basically what we want to do is get that door, the rim, the whole rim, the perimeter of the outside of that door that is going to face the interior. We want to try to get that, sort of as clean as possible. And sometimes it's a soap and water thing. Sometimes it's like isopropyl alcohol. Sometimes it's paint thinners. I mean, it depends on how sort of gunky and grimy that has been from sort of intersecting the door jambs for God knows how many years, right? So you want to get that cleaned up as best as you can, let it all dry out, and then you have at least a half decent base, because the types of weather stripping, there are mechanical, and there's adhesion and there's mechanical fixed, and most people are going to go out and buy the roll of self-adhesive stuff, which is good. I mean, you want to make sure you're probably buying, I mean, it's not a lot of money. You want to probably buy the absolute most expensive one on the shelf, because I mean, you want that 3M adhesive, like something that's going to legitimately last through -40. And then you basically can go two ways. You can apply it to the door face, or you can apply it to the intersecting jamb face. The door face is in this case, in this door, is probably going to give you the better seal, but it's not going to aesthetically look as nice when you open and close the door, right? If that's not your preference, then you got to clean the jamb side and put the self-adhesive stuff to the jamb side so that it intersects and seals, right?
Is that the biggest step, number one, cleaning it properly? Because obviously it's not going to adhere the adhesive. Most people, like you said, are going to go with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the mechanical ones are a little bit trickier. Really tiny little screws. I mean, they are.
Yep.
They're pretty rock solid. They stay in place. But for the majority of the homeowner fixes, I mean, the self-adhesive stuff. And I mean, if you buy the good stuff, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It works great, and it'll stay there for season after season kind of thing. Because I mean, you're literally pushing it into place every day. If what you don't want to try to do is if your door has a pre-existing seal, which if it was a manufactured door, chances are it did. You want to either try to trim that back so that there's room for your new seal, or try to get it out altogether, right? If you double seal, the door won't even close. So yeah, you'll actually extend, you'll lengthen or extend the jamb length too long, and your door latch will not catch in most cases. So it's a little bit of finagling, but I mean, logic will take over. I mean, you'll get it.
And plus, like you said, the amount of heat you can lose from a door like that is amazing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's substantial. A lot of people are all over windows for this and for that, and leaking out the cracks. The gases come out of them. I mean, I get it, but I mean, your front and your rear door is like it'll be substantial. It'll be not quite 10%, but between 6 and 8% of the heat in that,
really,
within that 100 square feet of whatever door it is, usually a foyer, will actually dissipate through that door. I mean, you'll probably lose 2% naturally, just
Yeah.
because it's a less insulated space than what your walls are. But if that thing has a leak, I mean, you can. If we have some sensors and some infrared monitors and stuff like that we can actually put on that, and you can see it. Just, I mean, it's just barrels out of
Pouring
there.
out.
So yeah, if you're nearing 10% in that 100 square feet area that is around your door space, I mean, it's bad. I mean, you might as well vent the outside kind of thing, right?
So it's well worth the money, like you said, to buy a good product, either mechanical or the tape side, and put
Correct.
it in. Take your time, put it in properly, because the amount of money you're going to save on it is astronomical over a winter.
I mean, honestly, the expensive stuff is like $30 versus the $16 roll, and
right.
And it'll literally turn into a solid 150, 200 at the end of the winter.
Yeah, and you could, like you said, you can basically, like you said, and just go over it again, the 2 ways to seal it for folks, because you said there's basically the exterior way. Right. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but you're basically just closing that in to make sure it's sealed.
Yep.
And then, like you said, stripping back the old piece, if there is a piece in there, and cleaning it and putting in a new stripping. But yeah, for the amount of money you're going to save, I didn't realize that. And that's great, folks. You need to, basically you can just do it with your hand, walk around and check your doors, can't you?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
you'll feel.
Yeah, this is not something that you necessarily need to bring a professional. Yeah, I mean, we've got some tools that kind of monitors it, but I mean, it's really is unnecessary. I mean, yeah, just put your hand near that. I mean, if you can feel any kind of air movement, that will accumulate to that percentage. And I mean, you never know. I mean, we can find out what that heat loss calculation is if we, when we do like an energy home audit or something like that, where we're trying to actually determine, okay, what is the best way. Somebody comes to us and says, all right, we have $20,000 to stop this house leaking. Like, what do we do? So then we break it down. Okay, well we can, 20 grand, maybe it won't cover all the insulation, but we can get another R10 out of the attic, and then we can look at the major windows. Maybe you have mixed windows, some old stuff, some new stuff. So okay, all right, let's look at the 2 front windows, their exposure, their exposure to the sun, how they're going to act in the winter, how they're going to act in the summer, so on and so forth. Maybe we pop those 2 windows in for another 7 grand, and then then we look at your front door and how much are we losing out of that front door. So, we can do these little energy audits for somebody, and we can give them an idea. Okay, you're losing X amount of percent out of this place. If we do this much money, we can get you down to like 5, right?
I never even thought about that. What a great concept, an energy audit, because then all of a sudden you guys can come in, check the whole place over, give an estimate on what it might cost to really bunker down, because you're going to lose that money and you're going to lose that money anyway,
right,
in your heating bills. So why would you not invest to make it long term?
It's 100%, and a lot. I mean, there are rebates for this stuff. I mean, you could literally get the Ontario government will pay you back on some of this stuff to sort of cut down on the the drain on the infrastructure kind of thing. So, I mean, it's everything. I mean, we can go over furnace seams. We can go over even the style of your furnace filter will decrease or increase your home's efficiency to heat. I mean, and we're all usually concerned about the heating of a place less than the cooling. I mean, heating is one of those life support things that is in the building code has way more importance than AC, believe it or not. Although in the middle of the summer, nobody cares about that. But but no, I mean, AC is way lower on the totem pole. It's not considered a life service in the Ontario building code.
Do you, on an average home, 2,500 square feet, how long would it take you to do an energy audit then? Like if somebody called you up and said, hey, I want an energy audit, is that a 2-day thing? Or do you guys, I guess it depends on the house.
We could do the inspection in about 2.5 hours.
Wow, then, there you go.
Yeah, and then we could write out, we'll write out an estimate with some descriptions and be like, okay, this, we can do this, because I mean, something that would be 50 years old would certainly be well under code of 2022. However, without actually doing demo, it's physically impossible to bring that house up to today's code. But are there intermediate fixes? Yeah, I mean, there's lots of, even the houses that are double brick that have the 4-inch air gap between the plaster and the brick, but no insulation. I mean, we have some ways, semi non-destructive ways, where we can do a blow-in insulation in that wall and let it sort of fall and drop in the bottom with just a small hole at the top of the wall, and you can gain, I mean, at least get that puppy up to R7 or something like that. It's instead of being R0, right?
So, and I'm glad we took this turn to the energy audit, because we started out, folks, talking outdoors, but for a couple hours to have you in to look at your house, like, man, again, I'm going to go with it long term. It's going to save you so much money. And like you said, you guys can walk in there, do what you can do to check, and give somebody an idea and an estimate so they can save, to turn that money around rather than just,
and you could pick
giving it to the hydro or
you don't have to do it all. I mean, we can itemize it and say, like, this is a big deal. This is slightly less, and this is slightly less. So, it helps. I mean, realistically, it's like that kind of inspection would be like about $199 kind of thing for us to come in for a couple hours and give you
worth it.
Bill. And then 9 times out of 10, if you do even half of the work, we don't even charge you the $199 kind of thing. So,
right.
So yeah, I mean, it's well worth it just to get an idea. And then, I mean, I did have somebody about 2 months ago. They said they got $2,300 back from Ontario on an energy rebate. They submitted all our, and from everything that we did, and on that, the bill was about $6,500, but still, I mean, $2,200 back on that was substantial.
If you break that down over a few winters, you're going to save, like, that savings is going to come back so quickly.
Yeah. Well,
which is
probably made money, because I mean, you break it down over 4 or 5 winters, you save the $6,500 eventually. And then on top of that, the government's giving you back, $2,000 on top of that. So it's almost an income on doing it.
Yeah. I love this. This is a great conversation this morning. Energy audits and sort of what they involve. So that's doors, windows, whatever you guys can. I mean, you have, you told me the system you use, and I've seen it before in work, and it just basically, it shows up, doesn't it, as a light, and it shows all the air spots coming in. What is that called?
Yeah, it's an infrared heat loss system.
Yeah.
It literally just shows you blues and red. I mean, it's not like you don't have to be rocket science to read this thing. And you can actually see, the nice thing, it not even so much. I mean, it's fairly simple to find, like I said, with your hand, like what you were saying. It's pretty simple to find the leaks that are legitimate. It's the cold patches in the walls, or the cold patches in the floors, or you see a big sea of blue in this one corner, and everybody nobody sits in that chair because it's freezing. And we go and investigate, and literally in some of these older houses, it's one stone that's rolled out of the foundation, and it's just creating a little stream of air, but it's freezing up the one corner.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? What can happen in the older places, and like you said, quickly, the new places. I mean, you guys got to bring them so far up to standard. Yeah. They're almost sealed up. Like, they're so sealed up, aren't they?
Yeah, it's actually, in my own personal opinion, I'm slightly, I feel like we're too much.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this before. That, the houses in Canada, particularly Ontario, I mean, we have the second highest standard of building code in the world, which is a great thing and not a great thing, because our houses don't breathe. So if you don't use the HRV system that's put into your new house, which is the air recycling system, your house literally can go backwards in energy efficiency because it's too sealed. There is no air movement, and that can cause all kinds of other issues, right? So they have some nice systems, National Building Code down in the US, that are like good compromises, where the houses are tight, but not so tight that there's zero air movement throughout the building, right?
All right, I'm going to let you get to work, folks. Energy Audit. Give Justin a call. Elevation Home Designs. He'll come by and check things out for you. I think this time of year it's critical. Get it done.
Yep.
Thanks for your time today. I know you're on the road and you're busy today, and just thanks. Have a great weekend and stay out of trouble, will you?
Always try to squeeze it in, but sometimes we got to make other arrangements.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.